It's because it's cloudy and there's nothing else to do.
Correct. Is it windy up your way as well, Nick?
Oh, it's blowing a hoolie. It really is, yeah. Whereabouts are you, Steve?
I'm in Nottinghamshire at the moment.
Right.
I used to live actually in Selby.
Oh, did you? Right.
For quite a while.
Yeah, just down the road then, yeah.
Yeah.
Was the weather rubbish then as well?
Yes. Very. It's the UK. What else do you expect?
Pesky jet stream, eh?
Yeah. I'm blowing all those from Atlanta in the USA.
Right.
He's listening. Harry.
Okay, now there we go. Sorry. So can you hear me there, Miss Nick?
I can, yeah. Hi there.
Oh, very good. Hi, I'm Steven. I'm the guy that runs the forum.
Great, good to see you.
Nice to meet you.
And you, yeah.
Let's see, there's more people waiting. I have absolutely no agenda for our meeting except a get together with smiles and things. And here's Alexandra, and she always has great things to say. All right. Alexandra.
Hey, Steve, how are you doing?
Hi.
Hi,
All right,
Steve.
I'm going to turn my TV volume down. Hold on.
Alexandra, your chair looks comfortable.
Oh yeah, it is. I've got a nice decent one today. I keep getting complained at that where I was sat before, I get like a flicker all the time in the screen. So I'm well away from the Wi-Fi this time.
Andrew Huskinson is coming. Awesome. So, hello, Andrew Huskinson. My wife. Anyway, I'm Steven. I'm Steven, and everybody, I think you all know me. Alexandra had this great idea to have a monthly solar chat meeting.
I think it was Brian, wasn't it?
Okay, Brian. Some
I
people.
think Brian should be coming.
And I screwed it up last month by missing it because I couldn't get my schedule together. And I apologize for that. Franco Fella.
Hey.
Hello.
Hey.
Yeah, Andrew looks a lot like a desk lamp. That's strange.
Transformer.
So we're gonna have a monthly meeting and see how it goes. And there's really no agenda for this meeting, but possibly we could have people show presentations or something in future meetings. It's just a way to for everyone to know each other. And we've got a really good community here, I think. We've been going for 12 years, Alexander, on the forum. And it's a good place. I like it. And it's because of the members. We don't have any silly arguing or bickering, and we got rid of all of our fruitcakes, and now the forum is great. So we're all just nerdy solar astronomers. So I thought I would start out the meeting by saying thanks to Brian, who's not here yet, and Alexandra and Mark Townley, who's also not here, for the hard work keeping the forum going. And also Ken, the spectrography person, what's his name? Ken Harrison?
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Ken.
Yeah. So a little bit about the forum, for those that don't know, I started the forum in 2010 because I got yelled at on cloudy nights because I didn't know everything. And I said the wrong thing. And I got, a bunch of astronomers excluded me from the conversation because I didn't know something that I was supposed to know. And so I said, whatever, I'll just start my own forum. And so we started the forum back then. And the main gist of the forum is to be inclusionary instead of exclusionary. And it was about the same time that we started a group in the UK called Astronomy for Fun, for some of the same reasons, because some, people were just excluding everyone that had any questions. So we decided we were going to have a forum where there was no arguing and everybody liked each other and everybody was happy. And we pretty much kept to that. And what's not to be happy about, because the sun is awesome, man. And Nick Spencer was just saying how it's real popular in the UK to be on the chat forum because it's always cloudy. And but it turns out that we've attracted the best solar imagers and astronomers in the world and have them all right here, and they're all very friendly and very willing to share what they know with everybody. The solarchat forum.com has this is the state of the forum part of our little meeting. And I used the term telcon on Facebook and was made fun of by several young people because apparently telcon, they don't use that anymore. It's now a video meeting, okay? Because nobody has a teleconference anymore. So we have a total, and I'm old, by the way. I'm almost 60, and I don't know all the cool new things. There's 312,406 posts on the solar chat forum, which it's hard to believe.
I thought that was just Alexandra's.
Yeah, and most of that is Alexander. 33,280 topics as of today, 3,436 members. And our newest member is, well, it's a scammer. Yeah, there's 56 users online currently. 7 of them are registered users. 49 of them are bots from search engines. And we have a freaking fantastic photo of the day. Mark Townley, I guess, picks the photo of the day. Alexander, is that right? Or do you do that?
That's me.
That's you. Yeah, that is fantastic, man.
Oh yeah, what I wanted to ask you a question.
Okay.
You know how you post like YouTube videos actually in the post? How do you do that?
Well, it's not very difficult. There is, I should probably do a screenshot for this, shouldn't I?
Yeah,
that might be something.
I'd be very interested to know.
But to finish out this part, the forum is hosted on networksolutions.com. And thanks to the 3 sponsors that we were able to wrangle this year, it's going to be a lot easier for me to host it. The entire forum represents the Charlie Bates Solar Astronomy Project. And I think most of you already know this, maybe Nick doesn't, but it's named in memoriam to a guy I served in the military with, Charlie Bates. And the purpose of the entire nonprofit is to get more people involved in solar science and astronomy in general. So we can become popular and help young people get involved in science, because I don't have to tell any of you, the ignorance to science is absurd right now in our world. So the purpose of our forum is to get more people involved in science. And that's what we do. So the money that comes in from the sponsorship pays for the forum and also pays for solar glasses, solar telescopes, computers. We're in 27 countries. We distribute equipment all over the place to people that are doing outreach so they can show the sun to more young people and get more people involved. And in the process, we've acquired this group of nerds that are the best solar imagers in the world. And it's really a cool group. And yes, I'm talking to all of you. So thanks, Alexander and Mark, for your help on it. Now, let me pull up the Solar Chat forum and attempt to do a screen share. I am an IT expert, so there will be 0 problems in doing any of this, and it will all come off flawlessly. Oh, wrong keyboard. Hold on. Let's see.
Good start, Steve.
Good start.
Thank you very much. Okay, so first off, let me see if I can do a screen share. And if anyone else wants to do a screen share, let me know and I'll make it so that we can all do screen shares. You know, funny story. We used to do a monthly Zoom meeting for, I forget what, it was for the Sunlit Earth portion of our nonprofit, which concentrates on sunlight in nature, Andrew. And we would have this meeting where we'd have guests on that would show us these really awesome pictures of birds and things. And during one meeting, we had some guy bust into the meeting and started showing a porn movie in the middle of the meeting. And it was some woman getting hammered, you know, and then he started cussing and drawing things all over the place. So I have to be real restrictive about the meeting. So if you can't share your screen or something, I'll make it so you can. But at any time, somebody could pop on here and start showing boobies or something. And I apologize if they do. So screen share. Screen share. Gosh, I'm so good at this. All right, there's a screen share. Let me stop that. Let me just share my entire desktop. Desktop 2. Okay, so you're seeing my computer now, hopefully.
Yep.
All right, and here is Solar Chat, and I'm going to open up another window with a YouTube video.
Oh, you could use an example actually. If you go to it's Simon, I think is 2490, I think, or something. He was trying to get a YouTube video into his post, so you could actually try and get that into his post if you can.
Okay. Do you know what?
So if you go into the main Solar Chat page.
All right. This would be a really bad time for the form to go out.
So there'll be Simon, yeah, just a bit further down with Solar
Right
Flow.
there. Okay.
So he's got 2 YouTube links,
Right.
but we can't work out how you can put it into the actual post.
Okay, so let me open his YouTube link in a new window and make sure that it's actually a valid YouTube video. And it is. Wow,
Because
that's
that
awesome.
was nice to solar picture of the day, but I can't do it.
Yeah, cool. Okay, so if you have uploaded a video, can you guys all see what I'm doing in YouTube? All right.
Yeah,
Yep.
If you've uploaded a video, wow, that is awesome, man.
it is
This
awesome.
is a great video. I'm gonna have to. I taught him everything he knows, by the way. Okay, just kidding. All right, so you go to share, and here's a link. Okay, so you highlight that or whatever way you want to copy that link. I'm on a Mac, so you can just hit the copy button. And then you go back to the post, and hopefully this is going to work. Let me sign in real quick. Man, am I not signed in? Okay, hang on. I'm not signed in. All right, Solar Chat, that's me. Remember me, log in. Hurry. All right, now I'm going back to the post. Simon Dang, Simon Dang. I'm looking for it. Flare video. Okay, and the reason I have to be signed in is because I can't edit his post unless I'm signed in because I'm the admin. All right, so let's say this is your post and you want to insert a YouTube video. You simply go to the point where you want to insert the video. You click this button right here that says YouTube, okay? And that inserts this piece of code in here, which is basic bulletin board code. Brackets with the word YouTube in it to start your link, and then brackets with slant YouTube to end your link. If you've noticed, Alexandra, everything in here on your announcements, if you want to center something, you put center in brackets, and then when you're done centering something at the end of it, you put slant center. So that starts a command and ends a command. So YouTube in brackets followed by slant YouTube in brackets is how you tell the forum that you're about to put in a link for a video. So you paste the link in between those two things like that. Okay. And so this is supposed to work. Let's see if it works or not. Submit. Hopefully that'll work. Yeah, and there's your video. Okay.
Excellent.
So we had this come up in 2011 or so. And I can't change the size of the video, unfortunately. You probably can, but I don't know the code to do that. But I programmed these buttons when you're entering a post. I programmed all these buttons to be up here. Center, a counter, Google Maps if you wanted to put in a map. Media is supposed to, any kind of media, audio, video, map, anything. That works on some things, it doesn't work on other things.
I think I've been trying to use the media, and that's why it's never worked.
Yeah, but you have to have the complete link from YouTube, not just the video number. PDFs, you can put something in here to translate it, which uses the Google Translate widget, which doesn't work very well either. And the YouTube link generally works pretty good. So let me get rid of that video. And what we'll do is manually type it in on this video. So again, it's bracket YouTube in bracket. And then at the end of the link, you go in and type bracket slant YouTube in bracket. Okay, and that's telling it to start a YouTube link, and then you're telling it to end a YouTube link. So everything in between those two has to be the actual YouTube link. So let's see if that worked. Yeah, there you go. So there's the second YouTube video. All right, excellent topic.
Excellent. I think Brian is trying to get
Yeah,
in.
there he is.
I think Raina has a comment.
Yes, Rainer. Let's see. Are you unmuted? You are. Feel free to speak in Spanish if you'd like also. He must. Okay.
So we're
All right. Let's see in the chat that he puts up. May I suggest something? When clicking on a link, there is an option in the PHP setup in order to open it in a new tab or window, which you find more comfortable. Yes, that is possible. And I'm not sure if you're on a Mac or a PC, but on a Mac, you just hit Control click and it does open it in a new tab. You can open it in a new tab, in a new window, anything. So I would imagine on a PC, I don't use PCs, but I would imagine that if you use your right mouse button, a menu will drop down and one of your options will be to open in a new window or a new
I
tab.
do not refer to opening an image in a new window. I refer to links.
Ah, okay.
Links in this case, when you click on a link, it opens in the same tab where we are looking at solar chat. And
Okay.
every time you have to go back.
Right. Now that is set in your browser preferences. Okay.
No, it's not in the browser preferences. It's in the PHPBB setup.
Okay. So let's find an example. I don't know if there's a link in any of these posts. Okay, here's a link here. If I just click the link, then it opens in the browser window and replaces solar chat. So not as,
Exactly.
yeah. If I, on my Mac, if I go Control click, gives me the option to open a new tab, open link in new window. Okay.
Let me check. Okay,
Now,
let me check in Windows.
You're using a PC, so use the right mouse button and click the link, and then a menu will drop down and give you the option to open it in a new window or a new tab.
Yeah, because I have a forum here in Mexico.
Mhm.
When you left click on a link, it automatically opens in a new window or tab.
Okay, I can set that if that, if that's the way. I had it this way because so that you could do either one based on the left or the right mouse button. But I can probably go in and change that. Let's see.
Oh yes, in Windows it works also by right click.
Yeah.
Thank you for that. I didn't know.
Yeah. But it would, I can't imagine a time where someone would want the link to open and replace the solar chat window. So maybe that's a good idea.
Yes, this is more comfortable because you don't need to navigate back every time. You
Right.
just open it in a new window or tab.
Exactly.
And then
I'm-
you just
I'm,
close the tab
I'm all
and
for that,
you're
man.
not leaving the solar chat window.
Let me see if I can do that without bringing down the entire form. Which has happened many times before.
It's PHPBB. It's a bit complicated. There are so many things to set up.
Yes, don't I know it? Post
I
settings.
don't even remember how I found it.
Well, I always ask Google when I get confused. Nick, is this everything you expected our teleconference to be?
Exactly.
Yeah, awesome.
Yeah.
All right. And more. All right. How do I make links open in new window in PHP BBS?
This is how we make the forum better, isn't it?
Yes.
Ask questions and say, that little bit that really annoys me. How do you fix it?
Well, we're about to find out. This extension.
I was late. I was late signing in, a bit of a brain fart on my part. So
I can't believe you would miss
Good day, everybody.
our meeting, man. Goodness, who would miss a solar chat meeting? I just can't understand that.
So you finally got in, Brian.
yes, I don't know why. Every other Zoom meeting I've had, it's automatically logged me into Zoom. And in this case, I thought it was asking for some email password unique to this meeting.
No.
And anyway, I got in. It was just took me 15 or 20 minutes to do it.
Brian was seeing a bodiless head, more or less.
I know.
Popping
I was
out-
going to say
popping
you
out
look
the
like a
sun.
disembodied head.
Well, I think the door behind me is open, and that kind of screws up the background. But yeah, it's just a disembodied head floating over the sun. Brian's head prominence. But
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm sorry about missing the meeting last month, man. Sorry about all that confusion, Brian.
well, that's all right. It was we survived.
Yeah, it is pretty complicated, Rainier. It requires some code adjustment in the form, so I'm going to have to do that outside of the meeting. But in the meantime, if you use your right mouse button, you can choose whether to open it in the same window or a different window.
It's okay. I did not know that. Thank you, Stephen.
It's not, there's not a setting in the generic settings in PHP BB. So I will look into that. Alexander, take over.
It's nice to
seriously.
see Nick.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, it's nice to say hello because I actually have never spoken to you before. So it's nice to see you on the meeting.
That's really kind of you, likewise. And it's good to put a name to a face because it's just so impersonal, isn't it, when you just see the writing? So I was keen to make the meeting today. Yeah, thank you.
Oh, I'm glad you could. Yeah, I'm glad you could join us. So it's nice to see you. I don't know whether you have any questions that you want to ask or anything.
Oh, well, I don't want it all to be about me. Well, I could throw a question in if you like. I don't know that it's a bit heavy for a first shot, but
No?
I have I've got a telescope and a quark, which I'm very happy with, and I've also got a Coronado PST, which I'm looking to upgrade. And I'd pretty much come to the conclusion that I was going to get a Lunt 80mm, but a dedicated solar telescope. And of course, now they are multi-purpose. For some reason, that's just not quite sitting right with me. So I've been looking at the solar scope lenses, you know, from the Isle of Man. And so my question would be, is there a huge difference between a 60mm and a 70mm solar scope attachment? I wouldn't go as far as the 100mm, but I'm going to the Practical Astronomy show in Kettering next month because they're there, aren't they? So I'm going to actually go and see it and listen to Helmut speak. But it was just the 60-70 thing. I wasn't sure.
Well, I've never looked through a 60, so I don't know what it's like. But I know, Stuart, you've got like a 60, haven't you? Well, not a 60 solar scope, but a 60 Lunt, haven't you?
Yeah,
And
yeah.
really good images from it, don't you?
Yeah, quite respectable. So I use a 2.5 times Barlow and a Basler camera with 3.45 micron pixels. So all my Hydrogen Alpha full disk images are mosaics now. So that's the way I've sort of headed to try to maximize the resolution detail. I tried single shot images, as it were, you know, so the whole disk on the chip, but I just couldn't get it even enough for my liking. Which is why I do mosaics. And sometimes they work out pretty well, and sometimes not. But yeah, I mean, I've done a lot of playing around with the 60, and I've now got it triple stacked, just to bring out, you know, obviously narrowing the bandwidth just to bring out that extra little bit of detail. But
Rayner's got a 60, don't you? And you get really lovely detail from that. So I think that, you know, if you're worried about, say, the cost for the 70 compared to the 60, I don't know what the price is. I think a 60 is pretty good, middle of the road, you know, Etalon, isn't it, really? But if you can afford the 70, then the 70 is absolutely cracking. I've looked through the 70 and I really enjoyed the views through that when, you know, I had that one. It was really, really nice instrument. So, you know, it all depends on how much you can afford, really. If you can afford it, always go for the most amount of aperture that you can get. But if you can't, I wouldn't be worried about the 60. I would have thought it would have been exactly the same, you know, good quality.
I will imagine that I'll see quite I would imagine, because I'm not sure whether I'm going down that route or not, but at the moment, until I go to Kettering and find out more, that seems to be where I'm heading. The intention would be to get the single first of all and possibly double stack later on, so it becomes just more pricey to get the 70 to then double stack the 70. That's just where it starts getting a bit, and probably the 60 double stacked would give me so much more than a PST at 40 single stack currently giving me. Definitely, because I'm sort of go with the 60, see how I get on with it, and it's just that first decision, isn't it? Anyway,
I have an opinion on all this if you'd like it.
Yeah, I would. Yeah.
I know you're shocked. So I've looked through all of the scopes you mentioned numerous times and numerous examples of each one. And what I've found in the last 16 years of looking through H-alpha scopes is that the price is exactly commensurate with the product quality in every case. Okay, I have not found a case yet where the price was not exactly the same as the amount of quality you were buying. And I will say, of course, my forte is full disc imaging. I have tried all of them, all the quarks, the solar scopes, everything else. There's no finer piece of equipment on Earth than a solar scope Etalon for imaging the sun, period. But that also depends on the refractor that you're using it with. You know, if you put that on a $200 refractor, you're going to get a $200 solar image.
Yeah.
You know, so if you have a great refractor already, there's no way you can find a better piece of equipment for imaging the sun than a solar scope, external Etalon, and blocking filter. Of course, it's cost prohibitive for most people, including me. Then you get into the Coronado Lunt thing, which is the next level. And the Coronado scopes are all tilt tuned. And Coronado is no longer in business, by the way, if you haven't heard that.
I didn't know that.
No.
Meade was taken over by Orion, and they don't know whether Coronado is ever going to make another scope right now. I forecast that it will. I know all these people personally, and I talk to them all the time. I forecast that it's going to be sold off to somebody, probably Celestron, but I'm not sure. But Meade was taken over by Orion through legal action last year. So Meade doesn't exist right now. It's just part of Orion. And of course, Meade
Stuart, is that why you got no answer from the helpline?
Yeah, probably.
There is no helpline. There is no Meade. There's no Meade right now. And the CEO of Meade doesn't have a job anymore. He's not even there. So it's all Orion, and Orion has no interest in marketing solar scopes. So anyway, the Coronado tilt-tuned and the Lunt tilt-tuned Etalons, external Etalons, are superb visually. And in my opinion, the double Coronado 90 is the best visual scope on Earth. For imaging, it's a different story, because the reason they're so good visually is because they have uneven illumination around the disc. And that makes it appear three-dimensional when you're looking with your eyes, because your eyes can make up for the uneven illumination. When you're imaging, it looks terrible because one half is bright and one half isn't. So the Lunt pressure tuned Etalons are specifically designed to be flat and evenly illuminated, but they don't look good visually as much as the Coronado. You know, it looks fine. If you've never had anything else, it's great. But the difference between the two visually, the Coronados and the tilt tune Lunts are far better. For imaging, the pressure tune Lunt is way, way better. than the tilt tuned. Okay. Then you get down to the consumer entry level deal, which is the Quark, the Daystar Quark. And it gives you a nice even image, but it's a very small image because it operates at f30, you know, at very high focal lengths. So you can only get a tiny part of the sun at a time. So if you want to do a mosaic like Gary Palmer that has, you know, 95 separate images you have to stitch together to get one picture of the sun, then the Quark is for you. Or if you want to just image super close up prominences and that's it, then the Quark is the way to go. So I hope that might help you a little bit. If I were you, I would determine your budget, your real budget, and then add 20% to that, and then buy whatever scope fits in there. Okay.
Okay.
And figure out what your intent is. If you want to do full disc type imaging,
Right.
and that's the primary focus,
Right.
then a shorter focal length, the 60s, 80s.
Yeah.
And I'm a big Lunt fan. I've got the 80 millimeter dedicated scope. Love it for full disc, and it's
Yeah.
good with a Barlow when you're not trying to get super high resolution.
Yeah.
But if your intention is to get super high res active regions, then lean towards either a bigger aperture so you can magnify it,
right.
or go to something like I'd say Daystar, but probably more the Solar Spectrum.
Solar Spectrum. Yeah.
Seem to have a better customer service reputation these days. So I've got a Quark, I've got a Daystar Quantum, and the 80 millimeter Lunt, plus a modified 130 millimeter using Lunt etalons, and no one replaces the other one. They each have a purpose.
That's all correct. And I was recommending the Lunt 80 single etalon pressure tuned scope as the best value out there for people that wanted to step up from the entry level for a long
Right.
time. And, you know, Brian Stevens is the guy that makes all the telescopes at Lunt. Andy Lunt doesn't do anything. He just spends money. But Brian is a personal friend of mine also. And the combo scope they're putting out now is very high quality. I would not be too concerned about that.
Oh, right.
It's very high quality. It's a better refractor than the one they were putting on the Lunt 80. And it's a real high quality piece of machinery. And they've really matured into an excellent product right now. The Lunt 80 that they were putting out, the Pressure Tune 80, was the best scope made for imaging for a while. Best value, I should say. Best one where it wasn't so much you had to mortgage your house, but it wasn't a piece of crap either. But the new one, that's a combination. And if those of you that haven't seen that yet, you can switch it between calcium, white light, and H alpha very, very quickly. And they started that with the Lunt 152 about 5 or 6 years ago. And I have that on my Lunt 152. And it's a very high quality piece of kit. So I would not have any problems buying it.
Oh,
So,
right. That's sorry.
Just like
Talking
Brian
over you,
said,
sorry about that. Yeah,
all right.
it's
I'm American. I talk over everyone. Go ahead.
yeah, no, and I'm excited, so I just want to talk about it.
Yeah.
No,
yeah.
it's really that's the first time I've heard. I don't know why and who I'm talking to, but that's genuinely the first time that I've heard not to worry about the multi-purpose. Because there's been feedback about it's too fiddly to change, not being able to take something off and put something back on, and it never being correctly quite aligned, and just too much of a fiddle about, really. So it put me off.
Well, the
That's
first
where
thing
it
I would
started
ask is, do you actually own the scope? When someone says that, do you actually have the scope? And I do have that scope in the garage.
Right.
And, it does require you to be patient when the thumb screws connect all the modules to the end of the refractor. And there's a groove that the thumb screws go into. So when you take one off, you have to put the other one on and hold it up against it and make sure that it's level when that it's firmly pressed against it. So it does not change itself over. So I can see people getting frustrated with it. But a lot of times on cloudy nights or places, you'll hear people making comments about scopes that they've never used before. So that's the first thing I check. Do you actually own this telescope, and have you actually used it?
Okay.
Stephen, I don't know if you know, but you're still sharing your screen.
Oh my goodness. No, I did not know that.
Yeah.
I am so sorry.
No, it's right.
Now, what I meant to say is I meant to do that. I meant to do that is what I meant to say. That was really bad.
Lunt user here. I do a lot of full disc stuff, and I can just squeeze it in on a ZWO 178 mono. So is
James.
attainable with a 60mm, and I have done. I've put a tilt-tuned Coronado unit on the front end, so it's now double stacked.
Ah,
And I can also use the quark on the back end of it. So you've got a double stacked or even triple stacked unit, but you've got to be sort of, let's say, adaptable at the back end. You've got to have a large adapter at the back of the end of the lump to get the quark in the right place for it to be able to be focused up. So there's lots of possibilities. You've got to decide what you want to do in the first place, whether you want high resolution magnified images, full disc, or a selection of all, and then it gets expensive.
Part of the selling point of this modular scope too is it's a decent ED, so you can use it at night for deep sky imaging. So it's much more rounded than owning say an ED nighttime scope and then having to buy a fancy H alpha scope.
mhm.
If you have a really good ED scope and put a Etalon on the front of it, it'll work perfectly well. But it's just a matter of what's your purpose. If you have no interest in deep sky and have no interest in doing white light or calcium K, then getting a modular scope's a bit overkill. But
Yeah,
again, those are questions you have to answer.
yeah, or if you've got a dozen scopes, as I do.
Okay.
I just get tired of swapping them on and off the mount, so that's why I've got multiple observatories, multiple mounts, so I don't have to move them.
Right.
So you any clearer?
Well,
Right.
probably, yeah. I mean, I wasn't as clear as I could have been in my initial description, I suppose, because I have a Skywatcher Evo Star 80 that I use the quark in, and the quark is a prominence version. So my intention is to go close in on prominences, but get whole disk, to get whole disk otherwise. So I guess I would keep the setup that I've got for close-ups, because I don't feel the need to go to go into 150 millimeter, because it becomes too expensive for my level and what I want from it, and because of the weather and so on. But I did want to just take it that step further to invest in something to get a whole disc. So I guess like I said, I was set on the Lunt 80 and then started to go down this solar scope avenue. But I do, obviously, in getting the solar scope, as you described before, I would need to upgrade the refractor, because I don't think the refractor would do it justice, a Skywatcher Eva Star. So yeah. So I do need to, but it's been definitely worth having that conversation, because is anybody else going to Kettering to the Astro show, or?
When is it?
No.
It's next month. Yeah, you probably know all you need to know about the equipment, but it was just to, I have a word with.
Oh, I'd love to go.
And actually see
It's,
a bit far for you. Yeah, so I'll still go there and check out the solar scope with great interest. But maybe the Lunt 80. Now I know that the multi-purpose thing isn't something to fear, and is actually a useful thing.
Something else you might keep in mind is that these scopes are all priced based on the diameter of the Etalon.
Yeah.
A Lunt 80 single Etalon scope does not have an 80 millimeter Etalon. It has a 30 millimeter Etalon internal in the scope.
Right.
It's down close to the eyepiece. It's internal Etalon.
Oh, okay.
So when you buy a solar scope 100 millimeter Etalon, you're getting an external 100 millimeter Etalon. That's why it's so much more money.
Right.
It's not appreciably, it's not significantly more than any other 100 millimeter Etalon, but the quality is there's no better piece of equipment on earth than the solar scope,
Right.
in my opinion. So remember that. it's the etalon diameter. And when you buy a 60 millimeter lunt, you're getting an internal 20 millimeter etalon. So
Right.
and even if you buy the external 60 millimeter etalon from lunt, it's 52 millimeters across. It's not 60 millimeters. The aperture of the telescope is 60 millimeters. So if you look a little deeper, you'll find that every single solar scope sold, solar H-alpha solar telescope is priced based on the diameter of the etalon, including the quark, because the quark has, what is it, a 5 millimeter or 8 millimeter piece of mica, down in the eyepiece. And that's why they're so cheap, So that's another point you might think about.
Fascinating. Really appreciate all your input on that. Thank you. I'll have to keep reading and keep wishing and keep saving.
Well, just determine your budget and add 20%. You'll be fine.
Good tip. Thank you.
Who else is here? Very good.
Start a longer term savings account as well. Because it is addictive. There'll be, I can't fancy a little dabble at the calcium wavelength and etc.
So
yeah, I was going to say that if you got a calcium K.
Yeah, now that would look great in your little Evo Star, a lunt calcium module.
Right.
Really, the crappier the refractor, the better. If with that,
Right.
Not that that's a crappy refractor, but I'm saying a low-end consumer refractor looks fantastic, and usually in white lighting, calcium K. Anyway.
Well, I've got a lunt 125 Herschel wedge, but I thought we would carry on with the hydrogen alpha and get quite a bit better at that before I start spreading myself too far and not really being very good at anything and confusing myself further. But yeah, okay, so that would look all right in there then.
Yeah,
I don't know why I didn't consider it. Oh, but I did whether to get a calcium quark. I'll say that, but it didn't occur to me to get the eyepiece.
Yeah, the calcium quark is the calcium H band. It's a different wavelength of calcium, and it looks all right too, and it does shoot a full disk image. The calcium quark doesn't have to be operated at f30 or higher like the H-alpha.
Franco's the expert with that.
Yeah, there you go. And the prominences in calcium, if you've got a camera that's capable of gamma and gain enough to get the calciums, and that's my favorite thing in the image is calcium K prominences. So that
yes, can you actually say how you get the calcium K prominences? Because no matter how hard I try, I cannot see them. How do you all get them?
Anyone else?
Is there a trick? Because I seem to be the only person who can't get a calcium K prominence.
Yeah. Well, no, there's not really a trick. I just put the module in the back of the refractor and turn up the exposure so high that the disc is way blown out, and I can just barely tell there's some prominences, and then I pull down the gamma and darken the background, and that shows the prominences. Now you have to have a 12-bit camera or higher to see them. An 8-bit camera won't show them to you. And I'm sure you have a 12-bit. You have a point gray grasshopper, right?
Yeah.
That's the same camera I use.
I just get a blown out disc, and then you just get sort of like a haze around it. I never see any prominences.
In that haze is where the prominences are, and you have to adjust the gamma until you see them.
What anti-scope are you using, Alexandra?
Well, it's the Tech 140.
Right,
that's good enough.
Yeah.
Stop down to 100 millimeters.
That's perfect.
So I can see great, like disc detail. But every single time I've tried, I usually use just neutral gain and neutral gamma and everything. When I overexpose, I can go to like such enormous, like exposures. And all I see is just nothing. I just see, like a blown out disc and then a fog around, and I see no detail whatsoever.
That's what I see also, but you have to adjust the gamma and carefully until you see the prominences.
You can do it in post-processing also. I mean, even if the image looks like a lot of around this kind of foggy, then you can adjust in post-processing, and actually you can see the prominences in calcium.
I need to try again because it does frustrate me because I've tried maybe 3 or 4 times and I just get nothing. And then I see everybody on the forum, oh, this fantastic calcium K prominence. It's like, well, I couldn't see that.
Wait, you've only tried 3 or 4 times?
Yeah.
Yeah, because I've just given up.
It's
Try
got
300 or
to be the
400
right
times.
prominence as well. Not all prominences are visible in calcium K.
That's true.
Well, in my experience, anyway.
Yeah, because it's a much higher temperature, as Alexander's paper showed us on the slow chat forum. It's a much higher temperature feature, and it's always a different shape than the hydrogen alpha prominence. Usually it's longer and further out into space, but it's never the same exact shape as the H alpha prominence. I'm trying to see if I can pull up a good image.
I've caught them in the past, but it's been infrequent. But I've got a B1200 calcium K filter on its way back from Lunt after being serviced. So I got to try one that's got new elements in it and see if it works any better before I give it back to the club I belong to.
Alexandra, what kind of camera did you use for trying the prominences?
I've tried the SWU 174. I also tried the Point Grey grasshopper as well. But I'm trying to think whether I had it in 8-bit mode or the 16-bit mode. Not sure. I might have to check that because I might have had it on the 8-bit mode. Don't know. If that, Stephen says that makes a difference, I need to check on that.
It does makes all the difference.
Really?
Yeah, because that means you have 16 levels of gray in the image instead of 8, and that lets you pick out the prominences from the glare. And somebody tell me to turn off my screen this time. But that's inverted disc calcium, and over here on the bottom left, you can see these little fingertips of the prominences. And this is 2 images. Obviously it's the disc taken separately at a lower exposure at neutral gamma, and then inverted and overlaid on the image of the sun with the prominences. And it's a very, very, very small window of adjustment of the gamma where this is visible. And of course, this is also sharpened and post-processed a little bit. And if I may, anybody else knows this story, but I'll try to pull up this one image. It'll take me a second, but I'll get back to you.
That's a cool image.
Yeah, and that's I'll put it back up. And this is very, very easy once you've done it a couple times. I mean, this is very easy image to take, and it even looks better in this cheapy Apollo M Max camera that I've been using. It looks even better in that camera. For some reason, that camera performs exceptionally well in calcium K. I would say better than my, $2,500 Point Grey grasshopper. And the Apollo M Max camera in calcium looks better in calcium. It looks terrible in H alpha, but I didn't say that. What I meant is it doesn't look quite as good in H alpha. But in calcium, it's freaking fantastic.
Hey,
So
Stephen,
yes,
about this Apollo camera, I mean, obviously the large pixels, very sensitive. What about, the resolution is not high.
No, it's 1,608 pixels across. It's not a very high resolution. That's true. It's a $599 US camera. And again, it's also price commensurate with its abilities. You can tell side by side with the Point Grey grasshopper that it doesn't compare, but as far as value for the money, I think it's an excellent choice, because not everybody.
It doesn't compare in what? In
resolution. Yeah, you can't zoom in at all on the image. And Point Grey is also no longer in existence either. So it's not like there's a lot of choice out there.
Well, but it's FLIR, right?
It's FLIR, and they have zero interest in solar astronomy also. They quit sponsoring the forum after they went over to FLIR, which, I understand it's a business decision. So I was very excited that Sean Wang who used to be with ZWO and now owns Player One Astronomy, is aggressively seeking our market, solar astronomers, with cameras and software, because he's got Mac and PC software specifically aimed at the solar outreach and solar imaging in development right now. So that's why I really am supporting what he's doing, in hopes that he's going to come out with a little higher resolution version of that camera. But it takes a lot of investment for him to put out anything for solar. So I think he's starting with a camera that's very affordable that people can purchase, rather than putting out a $3,000 solar imaging camera right off the bat. But the resolution is not that great. The H-alpha response produces some banding in the image. I'm not sure why, but there's some dark finger banding in H-alpha that does not show up in white light or calcium. It can be getting rid of with a flat easily, but so it's a good camera, but it's a first camera. So I'm going to stop talking for a minute.
Stephen, that Apollo camera, is some of its calcium K benefit coming from the deeper full well?
The deeper what? Oh yeah.
Like it's got a much deeper full well than most of the common CMOS cameras, so keep the bit depth high, and it's
absolutely
got better ability not to saturate.
Well, you know a lot more about the tech on the camera than I do, but that's what I understand to be the reasoning. And I'll tell you, that camera is super fast, man. I mean, I'm shocked. I haven't had a new camera in 8 years though, so I don't know what the technology is now. But I'm running it on a 12-year-old Mac Pro laptop and getting 130 frames a second. This is a $200 laptop. That's unbelievable to me. So I'm real happy with it. I'm still trying to look up this.
How do they compare? How do they compare with the ZWO cameras?
I've never owned a ZWO camera, so I don't know. They made it clear to me they were also not interested in our market, so I moved on. But Sean Wang was with ZWO, and he was one of the people that started that company too, I think. And then he broke off and made Player One Astronomy.
I wanted to share something with the other people here, that sometime you may want to actually keep an eye on on eBay for cameras like FLIR, Point Grey. There are all these cameras that actually were used on medical equipment that have been, then disconnected. And I got like my 814 Grasshopper that is like a $3,500 camera for $280.
Yeah. Yep.
Which is
I bought one of those packages off eBay of it was industrial use cameras that were no longer being used. Point Grey cameras. I have about 20 of them downstairs in the garage in a box. They're all Firewire cameras, and anybody who wants one can have one. But yeah, it's an exceptionally good deal. I think I paid $129 plus shipping for 20 cameras.
Yeah,
Wow.
I think that a lot of that is probably gone now because they realize what the value is.
Yeah.
But you can still find amazing deals. And if you pay with PayPal, if it doesn't work, there is a problem, you can return it. So it's a great resource.
So let me share this one more image. I know I'm monopolizing the meeting, but it's my forum, man. Let's see. All right, so we were talking about calcium K. So back in when was it when I came to London to visit you, Alexandra? 2014?
14.
Yeah.
Was it? Oh, was it that long ago?
It's been a while. It's been a while because Walter Koch was there, and he's been dead for a long time. So anyway, I was the greatest solar astronomer in the world, man, and I was going to get my award from the Astrophotographer of the Year competition. I was going to win first place. So had my tuxedo, I had my plane tickets, man. I'm like, hey, I'm the man. So so I show up over there and promptly get my ass waxed by Alexandra in the competition, who beat me. And they felt sorry for me. I was like the kid with the handicap or something. They gave me the most congenial award or something. I forgot what it was called. Runner up or something, the thanks for coming award. Thanks for spending $8,000 to come to London to get nothing. And the image I entered was taken in the same manner with the calcium K, and that's a calcium K prominence taken on the sun. And this was actually taken with the point gray grasshopper on a 100 millimeter Explorer scientific doublet with the Lunt calcium K B1200. But super overexposed sun. Okay. And this was on August 31st back in 2013, I believe. And this image is the one from NASA SDO is all over the internet. Every time you look up, they're showing this same little flare. But this thing extended out to 1.2 million miles from the sun and was not visible any longer in hydrogen alpha. And that's the calcium K flare. It heated up as it expanded out. So this is one of those where you just turn the exposure way up high and turn the gamma down. And the Photoshop version that I entered and lost in the astrophotography award look like that. So
then, Stephen, is it, if you were saying then that the prominence was no longer visible in the hydrogen alpha at that time, if we see that there has been like a massive flare and a prominence blowing away, and we've seen that we've just missed the event, it's really worth getting your calcium K out and having a look for it in the calcium K, because you might be able to see it.
Yes, if it's a powerful event, you will see something in calcium, and it always dissipates and floats out into the corona pretty far before it dissipates, because things, for whatever reason, they heat up as they get away from the chromosphere.
Just like the corona, yeah.
So Steve Ibbotson, are you trying to, there it is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This is one from a little earlier this year.
Yeah, calcium K prominence.
Nice.
And notice they're much more diffuse also. There's no sharp edges.
No.
You know.
And that was taken with the 132, William Optics 132, stuck down to about 120-ish with the 178 ZWO on the back. And I didn't fiddle with the gamma.
Oh, you didn't?
No, there you go.
I've learned that since. Have a tweak with have a play with the gamma, but I haven't had a chance since.
So which way round do you use the gamma? Do you go so that, because usually in hydrogen alpha you would increase the gamma a little bit for a prominence. Are you saying then you go the other way, you actually decrease it to remove the...
If you're asking me, yes. I push the exposure way up high and I decrease the gamma, and that darkens the background around the prominence. But apparently you don't have to do that either. So,
and that was the same day on the opposite side of the opposite line.
Okay. What's the filter there, Steve?
It's a Lunt 600.
Yeah, okay. So I've got a 600 and 1800, and the 600 I can just about see prominences in calcium, but with the 1800 I just can't. So whether it's about bandwidth and whether you smack on or slightly off band, I really don't know. I guess like everything else, you've got variability between products, between batches of products and that sort of thing, maybe.
and if I may, Steve, that's the actual footage of the calcium K prominence I just showed you.
So what filter have you got, Stephen?
A Lunt calcium K B1200.
Oh, the 1200 again.
Yeah. I also have a B1800, and they're both pretty much identical, but the 1200 seems to handle anything I use it for.
Steve, did you say that when you changed to a B1800 calcium K, you weren't getting the problems?
No, I did not say that. They're identical, really. The only difference between the two is a wider piece of blocking filter glass, but the quality was identical between the two. I found no need to have the 1800 because I didn't need any more room than I already had, but I do have both of them downstairs.
I've got a calcium cage to share here if you guys want to see it.
Okay. Who is that telling me that?
Brian.
Okay, good. Oh yeah, look at that.
So that was from back in 2014, I think, but that most likely at that time was with a old Celestron Achromat 4-inch f10 scope and the Lunt B1200. That was before I got the millimeter blocking filter. But
Mm.
anyway, that pulled up some nice problems that time. One of the few times I had decent luck with it.
I love seeing that because I can see where you overlaid the disc
Yep.
and did not enlarge it enough to have the same arc as the proms. I love it when I do that. It's funny when you do this for so long, you can see, I mean, it's a beautiful image, of course, but you know, all the little things we have to do to make it look natural.
Yeah. Oh, well, anyway, that was where it was coming through.
So Alexandra, I can feel a March solar challenge coming on.
Yes.
Be a good time for it.
Hey, Steve,
Yeah.
or anyone, can you see the CAK prominences visually using a monitor? Will they show-
Yeah, you can see them on a monitor if you're using a camera. Yeah, you can't see them visually at all with your eyes.
Yeah, I don't think I could.
No.
Yeah.
And I have a special Coronado 90 calcium K scope that Brian, oh, I'm not supposed to say that, but Brian modified it to be extra bright visually for old people to see like me. And you still can't see the prominences. So they're not detectable with the eye through any current equipment. Now, I don't know if through a spectrograph, you might be able to see it in one of the calcium H or K bandwidths. I don't know that. That's a good question.
I'm eventually going to get into calcium K. The modules just happened to go up sharply in cost just recently. So
Did they? How much are they? I haven't checked in a long time.
around even the B600, I think starts at around $1,100 now.
Yeah, that used to be $799 and the B1200
Yes.
was $1,100, but don't waste your money on a B600 because you won't have any use for it. It's too small.
Too small.
It's not
There,
usable.
Stephen, I got the disc better.
Hey, now you're talking.
Is
Can't
that
give away all
calcium
the
K or
secrets.
hydrogen alpha?
Calcium K. Calcium
Oh,
K. That's
right.
back in 2014 again.
That's the quickest edit I've ever seen, Brian.
Oh, no.
Can you show it again, Brian?
Pardon me?
Can you show it again?
Yeah, just a sec. Okay.
Because I mean, that actually you have also the speakers.
Mm.
Yeah.
Yeah,
That's 2.5 times Barlow on the, actually, that's the 6-inch iStar scope. Too many scopes to keep track of at the time. That's why I put it in the titles. But yeah, there's a little bit of specule there.
I mean, I haven't seen the speakers in calcium yet. This is the first time I see it.
Yeah, I don't know that I've seen that either. There's the March challenge.
Mm. Definitely.
I
Certainly
have seen
a
people,
challenge for me this year.
I have seen people add the H alpha proms to the calcium disc and try to call that calcium prominences. We won't mention any names. But I've seen that numerous times. So Alexandra, you asked about just quickly. This is the oh wait a minute, somebody's sharing something now.
I hit the wrong screen just a sec.
Okay. So this is as big as the. Are you seeing something?
It's not sharing.
All right, hang on. All right, that's on the bottom left. That's as big as the prominence got in H alpha for that massive calcium K prominence I was just showing you.
Oh yeah.
And it just went away after that. And what you saw in H alpha was because I had H alpha, calcium, and white light all going at the same time, imaging the whole thing. And that's what was left. These two really serious, you know, whatever you want to call them, tsunamis, solar tsunamis or whatever, spreading away from the filament. And there was no prominence there any longer when I was filming that calcium prominence. It had completely, you know, disappeared in hydrogen alpha. And then something very interesting about that event, you know, I love to talk about it. If I can pull it up. Yeah. It started out as the only time I've ever seen one of these, which is a calcium K filament down there.
Ah.
You see that filament?
Yeah.
Yeah. I've never seen that since. I don't know if Brian sees those or not, but That was a really powerful event.
I think I've seen them or recorded them once or twice, but it's very, very rare.
Very powerful.
I'll throw one more calcium K shot up here if I can get it to come on the screen, and then I'll. So it
Nice.
pieces
look at
jutting
that.
out,
Yeah.
and then it's got a hedgerow prom along the limb there
Yeah.
too. So
That's really cool.
Very nice, Brian.
And just for your the $2 billion version of that same photo. Wait a minute. From NASA SDO.
Oh, wow.
That was the actual event they recorded in extreme ultraviolet that produced all that. So it started with the filament and then exploded that way. And that prominence was unbelievable, man. All right, so we'll just get done with that.
Oh, it's cheating.
Yeah, it's cheating for sure.
I'm gonna have to I'm gonna have to leave now, guys. So, but it's been really interesting.
Thank you, Stuart.
As I say, I feel a challenge coming on. So I'll certainly be trying for calcium prominences this time around. I think you've whetted my appetite. Definitely.
I think it's a good time
All
for
right,
him too.
Yeah. All the best. Cheers, guys.
take care, Stuart.
Good to
Thanks.
see
See ya.
you too.
Bye.
Cheers. Bye.
You know, the one last week that everyone was filming, the Eiffel Tower prominence, had a pretty good calcium K prom also.
Yeah, I'm definitely going to have a look the next time. Try a bit harder. And if I still can't see them, it's like, what am I doing wrong?
You'll find them again. Well, if I can.
Well, I think it's interesting that, if we have missed like a flaring event, to look in calcium K because it might be there afterwards. I think that that's something that,
Yeah, it'll
is
be there. It's there.
piquing my interest.
And
They-
Ken's all over it, the other side of the world. So
Mm.
So this is last week's Eiffel Tower prominence in calcium. And this part looks very similar, but this diffuse, can you see my mouse pointer, by the way?
Yeah.
Yeah, this diffuse area here was pretty much a solid curtain all the way over. And Nick, with a B1200, you'll see exactly this with your eyepiece immediately upon setting it up. So don't worry.
All
So
right.
no, I'm kidding. This is all Photoshop trickery, basically. But yeah, the prominences were all pretty visible. This was an exceptionally bright prominence too. So it was definitely there in calcium. And I didn't have enough time. The wife got me back in before I could watch to see it detach and blow off the side of the sun. They almost always detach and are still visible in calcium, and then they dissipate off into the corona. So very exciting
You just have to be very lucky.
and patient. You have to just wait and see. That one from DragonCon, that big one, we didn't even have the sun in the field of view anymore when I was imaging the ends of that prominence. It was pretty amazing. And it was 1.2 million miles from the edge of the solar disk. But I didn't even count the part from the filament to the edge of the solar disk. So probably more like 1.7. But I got stomped at the Astrophotographer of the Year Award. They didn't see the light on how great of an image that was. They decided that I was not worthy. So
I said I was going to throw any more up there, but there's another one.
Wow.
Nice.
But
you're
again,
certainly getting them,
having
Brian.
overlaid the disc with the longer exposure for the limb.
It's a great shot.
yeah, I love imaging in calcium K. I think it's awesome. And plus you get better resolution and better sharpness. So you can be a crappier imager like me and still get really good images in calcium. Yeah,
Yes, but the seeing is usually worse though, isn't it?
that's true. That's very true. And I'm imaging from downtown Atlanta, which is a big city in the US. And it's always terrible seeing here. So calcium, it's just easier to do because I'm not that good at it. And it just, it's easier than white light. It's easier than HL. in my opinion. By the way, these are my safety glasses. I've been cutting bamboo all day in the nature preserve. So these are my camouflage safety glasses. I want you to, I don't always wear these glasses. But
Can still see them, so they're not camouflage.
yeah, they're not that great, are they? So what else we got this month?
More rain.
Yeah. It's
I'm
just
looking-
permanent rain all weekend.
It's absolutely throwing it down at the moment now.
We have crystal clear skies outside. You know, I
Oh,
should do a
don't.
live solar broadcast maybe on the next month, because it doesn't take anything. I could just go out in the driveway. And I
Oh,
still
yeah,
have,
that would be a good idea.
and I still have
I
the
was
same
con-
internet speed. So,
We got 2 inches of snow here.
oh my God.
It cleared off yesterday afternoon and got damn cold again. So it was minus 27 or so last night and minus
No.
18 when I was imaging this morning. Now it's
No.
kind of half overcast with cirrus. So I think the afternoon is shot for doing astronomy.
Is that Celsius or Fahrenheit?
Celsius. It's
Ah.
still cold,
Very.
Chilly.
But-
Yes.
but there's
Yeah, well,
lots of
good.
snow.
Maybe
Yesterday we had 60 and Fahrenheit, and today we had 32.
degrees. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's how it was here. It was 72 degrees yesterday here, Fahrenheit, and now today it's 40. So
Yeah, we've been getting in the low 60s here and we're in the low 40s today.
yeah, that's how it is. So we were out cutting bamboo at the nature preserve all day. And that was lots of fun. So luckily the meeting at 1 o'clock gave me an excuse to leave. And yeah, I gotta go, man. I can't cut any more bamboo. So maybe next month I'll set up a driveway live solar broadcast. I won't be able to talk as much. I know that's gonna pain everybody. But I can show live in all, white light, calcium, and H alpha if that's something that interests
Cool.
everybody.
Yeah,
And,
definitely, because we've just had rain all weekend. So it'd be lovely to see the sun.
I'm gonna wheel my telescope out after this meeting probably and go look at it. So
Mine's
there's
still
not,
setting aside.
well, I can tell you this, things are definitely picking up, and it's funny to me to watch the people that are getting all excited about the C-class flares and you ain't seen nothing yet. Let me tell you. Those of us that have been through a few solar maximums, you ain't seen nothing yet. Just wait. Yeah, it is going to blow your mind. This first X-class flare is going to just light up everything on the internet. So this is a great time to get into it, Nick, and get some quality equipment.
Right.
Yep.
Or
And,
knock out the internet.
Yes.
What? Yeah, the sun had a good go at the Starlinks, didn't it?
Right. Right. Poor engineering there.
Unfortunately,
Isn't it?
not good enough a go at them.
Well, yeah, it could do with knocking out a few thousand of them, couldn't it?
Yeah. I don't mind. So unless anybody has anything else, we're at our hour and 15 minutes.
Okay.
No. I
Yeah.
promise to be on time next month, and it will be the second Sunday at 1800 UTC, which is 1300. No,
Yes.
what is it? 1300 my time, which is not the same as 3 p.m. Even though there's a 3 in it, it's not the same as 3 p.m.
Well,
It's
yes,
actually
you do keep worrying me, Stephen,
1
when you say,
p.m..
"Oh, is it 3 o'clock?" It's like, no, it can't be.
I messaged her yesterday just to make sure I had the right time, and she's no.
And you didn't.
Anyway, I'll be on time next month. But thank you so much for being such good members of our forum, and keep posting. And I appreciate everybody. Franco, did you
Yeah.
have something?
No, I'm good.
You're good.
Everything is good. Hey, it's
Okay.
good seeing you, everybody.
Adios,
Yeah.
amigos.
Certainly. Take care, everyone.
Bye.
Yeah, great to see everyone.